As you mentioned, Nigel, at the start of our broadcast today, it was high tea day here at the Werribee Football Club, and they do their functions very well. And we've got a member of the Werribee board, Deryn joining us here at half-time. Deryn, thank you for having us, firstly. The spread here is fantastic.
Thank you very much for having me.
We might get you a chair as well if you'd like to sit down. Well done, Nigel, for giving up your chair. But first off, obviously a big day, Ladies' Day here at the club, and a big crowd at the function today.
Yes, so we've had over 150 ladies join us today, our fourth year, and something that just gets bigger and bigger, and without them the club wouldn't be what it is. Absolutely.
I think I was reading some promotional material leading up to today, and I think there was some word of a special announcement. Can you let us in on anything there?
Yes, so we've renamed our function rooms, Churnside by the River. It's all been redone, looks absolutely fabulous.
Excellent. The role of a board at VFL level, I guess during the whole Essendon kerfuffle that's going on at the moment, the word governance got trotted out a lot. What's your role as a board here participating in a VFL competition?
Well, we do look after the governance of the club and make all the major decisions to look after the welfare and the longevity of the club. For me personally, I bring fundraising skills, female skills, dare I say that. And I mean, our whole thing is to give back to football and give back to the community.
Well, it's a wonderful club set up here, obviously driven by the board. You've got a wonderful general manager in Mark Penaluna who's been here for quite some time now, and it just seems that, we were talking about it with Jamie McMillan before, that the players, when they finish, say, their AFL careers, Werribee is definitely a club of choice. You're able to retain players, and I think it's due to the setup that you have here and the environment that you create.
Well, that's one thing that we're proud of, and one thing that we're continuing to work at. Having players join us after their AFL career is really important, just as important as bringing those players up through on their way to AFL.
And I guess the game at the moment, you must be enjoying it. It's really top quality, and the Tigers on their way to playing finals again.
Tigers will be there, Tigers will win.
Okay. That's
like
pretty emphatic.
Like the authority. Deryn, we're seeing women continue to get more and more involved with football at all levels. We've now got a female on, I think, the AFL commissioner, and at least a number of prominent on the AFL executive and also on club boards. This is obviously a really encouraging thing. Have you sought out people in a similar position to you, perhaps at other VFL clubs, about how, I guess, females can continue to play a really important role in enhancing and driving the VFL as well?
To be honest, I haven't yet. I have only been with this board since May. And I think with all due respect to everybody, I need to learn about them first. They have a lot of strengths already, but definitely in the off-season and next season I'll be looking to my female counterparts. But I come from a background where I think that really it's about what you want and what you want to give back. It doesn't actually matter what sex you are.
Were you approached to join the board, or were you just around the club and put your hand up and got involved?
A little bit of both. So I was the representative from GMHBA. We're a major sponsor of Werribee Tigers. And through that association, I learnt more about the club, more about how they're affiliated with the mission and vision of GMHBA, and of me as a person. I've always been someone who wants to give back to the community, especially in areas of health and well-being. So it was a sort of bit about me going, I'd like to help, and them about, well, would you like to help this way? So
yeah, without giving away, I guess, all of the plans going forward, obviously the main role of the board is to look ahead. And we had Mark Penaluna in a couple of weeks ago when we were down here, and he was talking primarily about the redevelopment of the ground and working with council. But where do you see the club in say, 5 years' time?
Oh, look, up there with the best. We will be the best. I think our main attribute is that we can make sure that the community has an A-grade facility for learning and development as well as sport. the council has been supportive, and we hope to be able to talk about the redevelopment of the Oval and what that will bring to the community. But in terms of nurturing good footballers, we'll be there at the top and we will be premiers.
Deryn, there's a huge... You mentioned the word community a lot there in your answer. There's such a huge opportunity, it seems, for Werribee, the growing city of Wyndham, and the fact that, I guess, between the Western Bulldogs 20 minutes up the road and Geelong, there's no elite sporting team, I guess, to covet what is going to be a huge area of population growth through this corridor over the next few years. So is the club really looking to position itself to tap into the local community, and in particular, I guess, the growing migrant population this area is going to have?
Sure, and we've seen the contribution that the New Australians can make to football and to the community, and that's something we want to harvest. I mean, in fact, next weekend is Multicultural Day, and thanks to the Wyndham City Council, we've got a whole lot of activities next weekend, right through from multicultural Auskick to foods from varying nations and different activities. So we are primarily here to support the community, and we just choose our vehicle as football.
Big milestone, obviously, the club all year this year, and the real jewel in the crown, other than the premiership coming up, of course,
which we will get,
was the Hall of Fame night. It was a massive night. All the reports that I've seen about it, so many inducted into the Hall of Fame, new legends as well. It was just a wonderful night.
It was absolutely fabulous to see past and present players and volunteers, everyone who's made this club successful over the last 50 years, all in one room, all with one purpose, and that was to celebrate the Werribee Tigers. So it is something that we will continue to do on a more frequent basis. Now we've got the Hall of Fame and we've got our first lot of inductees. We look forward to putting the next lot in the next few years.
You're in a corporate setting, and that's how you've had an original connection to the football club. How do you think VFL clubs can continue to provide a better avenue for sponsors? And obviously, in terms of value for money, you think that the VFL and its clubs provide a pretty good option for corporate Australia to look to get their brand out there and communicate with their customer base?
Well, to be honest, I've only ever dealt with the Werribee Football Club, but from a sponsor's point of view, I couldn't ask for anything more. Mark and the team, the players, they're fantastic and a great avenue for us.
It's a real area, I guess, of concern for some of the other clubs in the competition, maybe some of the more standalone clubs. There's a lot of sporting groups, particularly in this area, in the Wyndham area. There's local footy, there's the VFL club, TAC play out of here too, and it seems to me that there are a lot of people chasing the same sponsorship dollar. So I guess clubs like Werribee need to be that sort of standout in the community and be the first choice and really service their sponsors, and they do it well. I mean, to give you a small example, out the back here, behind the grandstand where we broadcast from, there's a car park. And each of the different sponsors actually has a car park out the back of the ground. I mean, it's those things, those gestures that the club can do, that in the sponsor's mind they go, wow, we're really being looked after.
Oh, look, and Mark and the team, as I said, from a sponsor's point of view, they've done extremely well. I've had opportunities and experiences that I'd never have been able to have before and offer to people who I work with. Their affiliation with Werribee Zoo, North Melbourne, they do a lot of value add, and it is hard. There's lots of people knocking on a sponsor's door for money, and it's hard to say no.
What's the decision-making process, sort of flipping that around from a sponsor's point of view, when you have got all these things coming in? If people are listening from sporting organisations out there and they might be getting started on next year already, what are some of the key things when they knock on your door, for example, that you look for in a club?
Look, I look for strong alignment with GMHBA's vision and mission.
Yep.
So it is about community and well-being, the opportunity to be able to activate and touch members and be part of who I'm sponsoring. It's about mutual respect and being an open and honest and allowing people the opportunity to see where they might be able to drive money from their sponsorship dollar. But mainly I look at the synergy with the company.
And obviously with the club, as the umpires are about to make their way back out onto the ground, A lot of functions, obviously. You talked about the multicultural events coming up next week, the best and fairest, that'll be coming up as well. There's always a packed social calendar around this club.
Huge social calendar, and of course every match day we have the President's Lunch with some fantastic guest speakers. This year alone we've had Merv Hughes, we've had... his name's gone from me. Ricky Ponting, that's it. Sorry, Ricky. Brad Scott. So it's always fun. The ground's fantastic to look at from the President's Lunch, and now we've got Churnside by the river. Everyone can have wonderful functions.
Well, we always love coming here. It's a wonderful setup. We always feel welcome as the VFL Radio. Obviously, Mark Penaluna we deal with here, and Stewie and Kev Hillier as well, the media manager. But it's a wonderful culture, and it's so welcoming here, so inclusive, and that comes from the board as well. It's a magnificent vision, strategic plan you've got going here, and best of luck with the premiership, or the premiership race. It's a tight game at the moment. It'll be a big win today. Thank you for joining us here on Peter Jackson VFL Radio.
Thank you very much for having me, and go Tigers.
Deryn Bob's joining us here on the Werribee board.